What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. I made a video earlier talking about this, but for some reason that video had deleted. I'm not sure why I deleted it or whatever. Maybe I did it on accident or something when I was labeling, but this video is about Wladimir Klitschko calling out David Haye. Honestly, I didn't really want to make a video this week. Don't want to be around YouTube this week, but something for a reason, with the circumstances going on in my life right now. I just kind of felt obliged to talk about this because this is such a big event in the heavyweight division. It's so important in the heavyweight division that it's something that should be talked about and something that should be mentioned, because there's so much talk going around about David Haye. I know 97 Rough, Blood, and Smitty, and I know new channel UK Wing Chun student. All of them were talking about David Haye, and David Haye has been his name's been brought up so much in the boxing community for the last week or so. So this fight here, is going to garner more attention to David Haye, and it's going to garner more attention to boxing in the heavyweight division. Just like how sometimes in boxing we simply have fans of just Manny Pacquiao, we have people in boxing who are just fans of the Klitschkos. And Wladimir Klitschko, I believe, has a really big following, and that following here is not in the United States, but most of his following, from what I've noticed, is out in Europe. And pretty much true boxing fans are big fans of Wladimir Klitschko. And me, I appreciate the art of boxing myself, and I'm a big fan of Wladimir Klitschko. Though sometimes he does come off as boring. He masters down the sweet science. And the fact that he did call out David Haye and mentioned in that 30-second video, you bitched out and ran from both brothers, etc. I think it's a good way of calling them out, and we'll see how David Haye responds. Now, me myself personally, I am a fan of David Haye as well. I'm a fan of any man that's willing to put on the gloves and get in the ring and put their lives on the line. So David Haye, I really hope responds. Make a video himself, and let's see what happens. But I think what's standing in the way is the IBF, International Boxing Federation. They're kind of standing in the middle of this fight because Alexander Povetkin really, I think he's ready for his title shot, and has been waiting for this championship shot since 2008, February 2008, when Povetkin beat Eddie Chambers on HBO Boxing, and he earned his mandatory shot, and the fight was scheduled for December of 2008, and Povetkin had to pull out, and Klitschko fought regardless. Fought Hasim Rahman on that same card. So on the card that was originally scheduled to be Klitschko Povetkin, and now Povetkin fought throughout 2009. Wladimir only fought once in 2009 against Ruslan Shagayev, and then he had the surgery. So and then he fought his WBO mandatory with Eddie Chambers, and Povetkin still hasn't gotten his championship opportunity yet. So I think that's really what's standing in the way of this fight from being made, that and a possible rematch clause with Nikolai Valuev. And really what I think should happen is both fighters should fight their mandatories before facing each other. And with this fight, we'll have a true heavyweight champion, because really Wladimir is a champion by default. He's a champion by default because, one, he's been champion the longest, since like 2006, and two, because he's been facing the best opposition out of any fighter in the heavyweight division, been fighting basically his mandatories and other top challengers. But let's not forget a couple years ago when David Haye actually called out Wladimir Klitschko. He actually called out Wladimir Klitschko, but he had to defend his championship against Tony Thompson, and in like July of 2008. And really he was tied up, so he couldn't fight David Haye right away. And then he told David Haye, "Hey, get into the heavyweight division and prove yourself, earn your shot." And he beat Monty Barrett and then like about a year later won the championship in his like third heavyweight fight. So this is gonna. I think if this fight can happen, I hope it happens. I hope that this fight happens and we'll have a true heavyweight champion, a true #1 dominant heavyweight. Though we're still not going to have an idea of who the best fighter in the division is, because #1 and #2 aren't going to fight each other. But we get at least an idea of who basically #1 is. And pretty much with all the alphabet organizations and all this stuff, it's going to be the man who holds the most championships. And definitely Wladimir does hold a majority of the championships at the moment, along with a computerized belt in the IBO. But overall, I think it was a very good move for the heavyweight division, and I think a fight like this is gonna garner worldwide attention. And a fight like this, whether it be on pay-per-view or regular HBO, ESPN, even versus at Showtime, this fight's gonna be very profitable, if you ask me. I just think that if both fighters can come to an agreement and fight and just make the fight happen, it's going to be huge. Even in the United States, I think that this can be one of the first fights it's probably going to be the first unification bout between two European heavyweight champions, I believe. Now that I think about it, two non-United States heavyweight champions, but I think that this can be as big as some of the heavyweight championship fights of the past. And I might be putting myself out there by saying that, but I think it has potential to be, because I think that there are a lot of people just waiting for that big heavyweight fight, that big heavyweight showdown, and this can be it. And this can pretty much go into the history books. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that, and I'll probably be back with another video in a few minutes. But anyway, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.